In this video, I'm going to show you the setup of my Raspberry Pi based parking system. So as mentioned in the PDF, I will be using this small wood block to trigger the RF sensor. After that, the RF sensor is going to tell the camera to take a picture of the plane number displayed on my laptop. Okay, now let me remove my laptop first, and I will show you each part of the system. Okay, so as you can see, I have my workstation set up, and there are 3 parts of the system, and each part is using a Raspberry Pi. So on the left, that is the entry point, navigation, and the exit point. I have a monitor set up for the entry point as well as the exit point, just to show you the UI as well as the database. Okay, now let's talk about the entry point. So on the entry point, I have LCD display, which displays the current time as well as the parking lot status. And how it works is that the RF sensor, so when a car enters, this is going to trigger the RF sensor, and it's going to tell the camera to take a picture of the car plate number displayed on my laptop. And then it's going to run the plate recognition algorithm to get the plate number from the image, and then it will display the plate number here to the driver, as well as it will display the plate number in the UI here, and as well as the captured plate image. After that, it will be stored into the database. So the database is set up on the entry point. And now let's move on to the exit point. So the exit point is pretty much the same as the entry point, but it has an RFID. This is simply for the payment process. And my system only has one payment process, which is the RFID, and third-party payment process is not within the scope of this project. So how it works is that when a car is exiting the parking lot, it's going to trigger the RF sensor, tells the camera to take a picture, then it runs the plate recognition, and it will display the plate number as well as the price on the RFID, as well as the on the UI, the plate number, the price, as well as the captured car plate image. And the user has 2 payment choices. So if the driver has RFID tag, and if it scans the RFID within 10 seconds, it's going to bypass the payment process. And I also have, this is simply the MySQL database, and as mentioned in the PDF, on the exit point, it simply access the server hosted on the entry point. Okay, now I will show you the navigation. So this is the navigation for my system. As you can see, I have a breadboard which is powering 5 sensors, with each attached to a parking spot, 1 to 5. And for each row, it has a LCD displaying the empty spot numbers to the driver. So how it simply works is that when a car enters the parking lot, it's going to look at the LCD display to know if the row has a parking spot. Then it's going to park there. So suppose all the row is taken, like that, and the LCD display will just show that there's no parking spot left. So suppose that another car enters the parking lot, it's going to look at the LCD, and this row has no parking spots left, so it was going to move on to the next parking row, and it's going to check the LCD again. So in this way, it saves time for the driver to find a parking spot in the parking lot. So that pretty much sums up the setup for my system, and now I will walk you through each test cases.